All right. Hey guys. I am here with Paul, my Republican friend. My name's Kristen Howerton. I blog at Rage Against the Minivan, and
I'm Paul, and I'm a friend, and I blog at Paula Sophia.
so if you haven't joined us before, Paul and I are good friends, and we come from different political backgrounds. I'm a socialist Democrat.
And I'm a moderate Republican.
And this has been an interesting election, though, because Paul and I both found ourselves rooting for the same person.
Or at least rooting against the same person.
This is true, actually. That is actually more accurate for me. I think you're more excited about the Democratic nominee than I am. But
Yeah, I mean, I find myself siding with a lot of Republicans that, we're going to talk about these emails, but I just don't see criminal activity, along with the FBI director who didn't think there was criminal activity.
Yeah.
And so we had a vision once upon a time to debate. Remember that about
We
a year
did.
ago?
We have not been debating a whole lot.
We were debating already, and we thought, let's just turn this into a little video. We're going to debate, and we become advocates for the same cause.
We have, which is never Trump.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are a week away. So I want to talk a little bit about, I might have to hold this somewhere. I want to talk a little bit about the email problem, because I feel like the email problem is like the most misunderstood. Everyone talks about the emails, but does anyone really understand what the emails are?
Right.
Like, what's the problem with the emails?
Yeah.
Right?
So do you want to do a little bit of a history?
Let's do a little recap.
So Hillary messed up, and she felt it to be more convenient to have her own server to manage all of her emails, and that wasn't a great idea.
Well, what's interesting, though, is when that server was started, it was, I believe, during the Clinton administration. And it was, that was a long time ago when all of us were kind of new at email, And I think it started out of sort of ignorance, but then it just kept going.
Right. And at the end of the day, I think, and I find myself continually sympathetic toward Democrats these days for some strange reason, but one of the things that I believe all politicians at that level do backdoor deals. I think
agree.
It's called politics. That's what presidents do, whether it be Reagan with Iran-Contra. This is the nature of the office. And so when people beat this drum about Hillary being, shifty, and she was a Secretary of State, I think, well, of course she was. Which politician doesn't use relationships to bolster their career? Mm-hmm. And so that at the middle of this is this idea that Hillary's more corrupt because
than
of how
others.
she,
Well, I do think Hillary is, as corrupt as many politicians. I think we do see some politicians that aren't as corrupt. I think Bernie was not as corrupt.
Yeah.
I think Barack Obama has not been
Yeah.
very corrupt. But yeah, I think Hillary has made decisions based on money and based on politics. I think she, has made backdoor deals. But backdoor deals is not the email problem. The email problem is a problem of security.
Right, and there's a cluster of problems with the email issue. One of them is security and whether there were classified documents or not,
Right.
etc. I tend to think that she probably didn't house the emails in a place where anyone could just kind of hack in and know the code to the nuclear code.
Right.
And in terms of so I think what I'm trying to say is, some people want to make this all about how the Clintons are all about power and they're all about conflict of interest. And I want to push back against that and say, come on, that's called being a politician. Whether you're a senator, and maybe there are varying levels of it, but I think even Bernie, you don't think he has a Rolodex of highly influential people that,
I think he does, but I think he's shown himself. The fact that he wouldn't do the super PAC game, to me that indicates that he really is going to put principle before politics.
Right.
And I think our entire political system is broken, and I think the reason that politics are so corrupt is because you have to be corrupt to keep getting elected.
Absolutely.
You do. And I don't even know if we've had this conversation, but it was 4 years ago, some Democratic leaders here in Orange County were asking me to run against Dana Rohrabacher, who is our local congressman for the U.S. For the state of California. And, you know, one of the things that I realized in that process is just how, like, you are basically campaigning all the time because you get a 2-year seat and you're comfortable for about 6 months and then you start campaigning again. You're doing very little work at all. It's just meetings and campaign and fundraisers and, you know, on and on and on. And I think when seasoned politicians have walked through that, they just think it's normal. They think it's normal. In the same way that all of us do dysfunctional things that we believe are normal. Right. You know, I feed my kids hot dogs, you know, which is not normal. You know, it's disgusting. But, you know, so when you're surrounded and swimming in something, you no longer, you know, see how dysfunctional it is. And I think that's true for the Clintons.
Yeah. And yet, to me, you know, over and over again talk about Churchill and democracy is the worst form of government, except all the others, and find a better system. Well, you'll say socialism, perhaps.
But in this regard, I would say campaign finance reform.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Would help
absolutely. And that's where it gets tricky, because are these people going to vote for a bill that would essentially take them away from the powers that keep them elected? And so, no, I am totally in agreement on that. And that's one of the reasons why Bernie was so appealing. But I think with Clinton, for sure she lied. I'm not sitting here saying that she didn't lie.
And she has acknowledged that she lied.
She has acknowledged that she lied. But even getting there was so painful, watching her for months and months and months. And she lied. But I think I want to get to a deeper level, which is, number one, all politicians network and use relationships for the sake of winning in their career. Well, is she any different than George W. Bush on that one? I doubt it. I highly doubt it. And then with the security issue, you know, I mean, it seems like Russia's pretty good at hacking into anything. I don't know. I just don't have the same. I mean, if it was John Kasich running against her, I think I would feel much more strong in my views about why I don't want Hillary to win. But again, we've said this before, because Donald Trump is the alternative.
Right.
I'm willing to give her a pass and say, well.
Well, and I don't think the email thing, to me, I think it was a misstep. But to me, it's not a misstep that indicates a future liability. I mean, I think she's learned her lesson.
Absolutely.
I don't think she's going to do it again.
No, she will not do it again.
Yeah, I don't think it is a result of some character flaw or something that she can't control. I think it was a mistake that will not be repeated.
Absolutely.
Right?
And that is the reasonable view in my opinion. Yes, she screwed up. Will she be able to do it as the President of the United States? Absolutely not. She will not mess around anymore with emails and private servers as president. But with Donald Trump, we don't know what he's going to do. He said he would blow Iranian ships out of the water for taunting us. Right. And so given the choice between those two options, it seems very clear to me which one is the more reasonable option. But let's talk more about what happened last Friday when they came out and said that there's a new batch of emails. And you see people on Facebook like, more emails. And I don't think they have a clue what happened.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, it sounds like what happened was they just discovered ones that hadn't been discovered yet between Hillary and her, you know, her main kind of advisor. Yeah. Which again, it's just more of the same. I mean, for me, it doesn't really change anything.
It doesn't. And on the weekend, Comey came out, or I think it was on the weekend, but it was very clear that when he wrote this letter to Congress saying we found some new emails. I mean, just think of this for a second. We found some new emails on your aide's laptop. And it's like, okay. And they were forwarded emails from her account to, okay. Mm-hmm. Like, what's in them? Like, they could be, you know, I'll be late to work tomorrow because my kid has a ballet recital. Like, there's no way. And Comey said, I have not seen any of these emails. Right. So by Saturday morning in the Sunday morning talk shows, you have Trump on Saturday saying this is worse than Watergate. And all you have is an admission by the FBI that, oh yeah, there's some other emails out there. I haven't looked at them yet. Like, we don't prosecute people like that in this country. No. All we know is there are some other emails and they're going to look through them. But this rush to and I don't think most of the people supporting Trump even understand that. they don't even understand that there's a set of emails.
I just think they're looking for something to be outraged over. And, I think that Trump's reputation at this point is so bad that they're just looking at anything to point at away from him.
So do you think that this is going to affect that pocket of people that are, how anyone could be undecided in this election? I don't know. But do you think it hurts her? Like, do you think fewer people vote for her because of this issue?
No, because the only people I hear talking about the emails with any sense of passion are diehard Trump fans. I think the general public is not really concerned about the email thing beyond people who really, really, really love Trump.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to change anything. I really don't.
So shall we switch to the polls, being that we're kind of talking about them already?
So, what are you predicting is going to happen?
Well, okay, so the conventional wisdom is that it's very difficult. I read Nate Silver. He's kind of the nerd guru that has been very accurate in the past few things.
Sorry, we're good.
Silver boils things. Nate Silver, 539 is his website. He's incredibly meticulous and methodical. I think he gives Hillary about an 80% chance of winning. And so it's very high.
Yeah.
And the challenge for Trump are these battleground states. And there are, maybe 10 states. He might be ahead and barely in one or two of them, like Ohio maybe. But he would have to run the gamut on all of these states.
Right.
And just, by virtue of statistics, it's not going to be easy to win